Alrighty guys, welcome back to another video. In today's episode, we're going to be mounting this fridge into the back of my Hilux and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. First, let's take a look at what I've got. I've chosen a King's 20 litre fridge, mainly for its compact size. And for only $200, it's a great bang for buck option, especially if you're on a budget. So I'm going to be mounting the fridge behind the driver's seat here. Basically this piece detaches on its own. I'll fold this up now. And it actually unbolts from behind this plastic cover, and then there's another one up in there as well. I think you can remove it while it's in the car, but I'm going to be taking the compressor out from behind the seat and coming up with a bit of a new setup. So I'm just going to take the whole rear seat out and remove it then, and I'll show you what that involves. So to remove the back seats, what you want to do is fold the base up, hook it on around the headrest, and then under here pull your seat belts through. There's like these little tags that go around them. Get them out of the way so it doesn't get caught. And then on each side you've got two 12mm bolts and one in the middle. You'll also want to disconnect this seat belt clip, which you can do so just by pushing on that red button with like a flat blade screwdriver or something. Then you want to take that out, feed it all the way up here and have it sitting loosely just up the top there. And just sit those bolts to the side and I'll show you how we get it out. Then with all of that undone, jump in the back or get someone either side, and you just want to lift the whole seat up out of its hooks, and then it'll fall forward. I'll just show you what that looks like quickly. Basically you got these clips here which slot into there. You probably need to lift it about 40-50 mil and then it will come straight out. So if you're doing this on your own, I've found that grabbing the headrest and the base gives you a bit of leverage so you can pick it up and then walk it back out. Just like that. So we've got the seat out and this is what we're working with. So I'll quickly pull that out, give it a quick clean in here, and then we'll take this base off. And that is looking much better. So now, to remove the base, basically you've got a piece of plastic here which hides the bolt, and then same on this side. It's just a 12mm bolt. Don't lose that. I'll just leave that loosely in there to hold it. And to do this one, you probably want a spanner. So I'll do a 12mm spanner. I'll use a ratcheting one to make it a bit easier. Basically this same plastic piece on the other side. Pop it off. It's just a clip as well. And there's not actually a bolt there, but if you pull this back, might be able to see better from underneath. There's a bolt just in there, which is attached to this arm. So then you can take that whole piece off. Getting caught on threads. Just like that. So, now we can see that we're doing it a bit better. Basically, that's the thread for the bit that you're taking off, and that's where the bolt will be. A little bit of a pain to get to that one. It's definitely easier to do it outside of the car, I'd imagine. But thankfully the seat is pretty easy to get in and out, so it's not too big a job. So then to bolt it back in, I'm only going to put the bolts in on that side. I want to leave these ones out because I'm actually going to use those bolt holes and those bolts to make a bracket which will actually hold the base of the fridge down. So now with the base out, this is what you're left with. There's plenty of room. So we're actually going to be using a bit of plywood to mount the fridge just because it's easy to work with and fairly light. I've already gone and cut this piece which fits pretty well perfectly, but I'll show you how I made it anyway. And the actual size of this, if you want to replicate it, it's 500 wide and 645 long. So then the fridge itself, for a bit of a comparison, is about 585 long. That's not including the handles, which I'll be unscrewing anyway. And then about 360 wide. So yeah, it's kind of the perfect size to be able to leave a bit of ventilation around it, because you don't want your fridge getting hot. And then I've gone and cut off all of the corners except for that one back there, because that's right where the seatbelt's going to be. But this one, I've come back 50mm here and then done the 40mm corner on it, just because that's where the bolt is going to mount, or where the bracket is. But you'll see what I mean when I put it in there. Basically it just sits like that. So I'm going to use that bolt there and put a bracket on here, same over that side, and yeah, we'll get a bit of carpet on it and we can look at mounting the fridge. So then the carpet that we're going to be using, I got from Clark Rubber, which is this stuff. I think it was about $70 or something for this roll. They come in like 2-meter lengths, so I wanted a meter, but they just gave me what was left, which was very good of them. And then to stick it on, they recommended this stuff. So there's kind of two options you can get. You can get the spray one, or they have a tin, which means you can just use a paintbrush to put it on, which you can probably be a little more accurate with, but you know, given the size of this, I thought it's easy enough to just spray it. But we'll give it a crack now anyway. And then obviously when you're gluing it, make sure you put the top face down, and then leave a bit of extra so that you can fold the edges over. You probably only need like 100mm or so. That was kind of really tedious, but we got there. It's not perfect, but everything kind of meets up pretty well. Like, it'll be hidden underneath anyway, so as long as the top is stuck down properly, I'll be happy. But anyway, we'll get a bit of glue on there and throw some pavers or something down. You can use staples or little nails, but it's not going to need that much tension on it, so we'll try this, maybe a few clamps. Alright, we've got the clamps on. Ideally you'd probably want to get some pieces of timber to go around it and clamp that down so you get a nice solid edge, but I've moved the pavers around here and there and clamped them down, and it's probably been like half an hour now. It says that it takes about 24 hours to fully cure, but I'm hoping within a couple minutes it's going to be properly stuck, because I just want to get it in the car. So I'll probably leave it for another half an hour and then check it again, and if it feels pretty good, then I'll put it in the car and try and work out some mounting points. And while I wait for that to dry, I'm going to swap the power from the main battery to the auxiliary battery, because I'm going to use the Anderson plug that I've got tucked down the other side, which I was running power to the compressor from, and then I'll be able to plug the fridge straight into that, and that way I won't end up with a dead battery at the end of the day, which would be nice. Unfortunately, my ring terminals are a different size on the auxiliary battery here, so I'm just cutting them off and replacing them with bigger ones. Alright, I reckon that'll do. I'll do a quick clean up and then we'll go have a look at the carpet. Alright, I reckon that's come up pretty good. Probably get some scissors and just go and clean up the edges here, just so it looks a bit nicer, but it's stuck down pretty well. So we'll chuck it in the car. Well, it is a snug fit, but it's in there pretty nicely, so you can see now where we're going to put our brackets on top of here. I'll probably just go get a flat piece of steel, we'll bend it up, drill a hole there, and then just put some screws in through here. Same on the other side. I'll probably get rid of this seat though, actually. So for little mounting brackets, I'm just going to be using this piece of flat bar here, which is 3mm by 25mm. I've just got this piece of cardboard here to give me an idea of how much I need. Butt it up against the back of where the bolt goes and be able to get 2 screws just in there. So That's what we're after. It's about 135 mil. So again, I've just used that piece of cardboard to mark out where I want the bend to be. And then I'm going to put it in the vise and tap it around, but just to make sure that it does bend on that mark, a little trick you can do is just run a groove across there with the grinder, and then it will give you a weak point to flex on. So literally just a little groove like that is all you need. It'll make it a lot easier to bend. Make sure you get it nice and square. It looked like just past 45 degrees, so I'll go and have a quick test fit of that and I'll see what the other one's like. Alright, believe it or not, that is actually spot on, so first time's a charm this time. I'll put this one in, do the exact same thing, and that'll do, I think. So I've just marked out as well. I'm going to drill the holes that are going to go through the actual plywood when it's bolted in. And I got these screws, which I've checked aren't going to go all the way through, so draw some holes. Well, they fit perfectly. I'll take this out, I'll be able to put the bottom bolt into this side now, and then the seat won't move anywhere, and I'll be able to chuck these in once I get them painted. Alright, now while that's drying, we'll get the fridge in there, look at how we're going to mount it, probably screw these down, and then once that's dry we'll go and screw them on, put this in and give it a test. So I just test fitted it and it's pretty close. I'm 6 foot and where I have my seat, it's sort of just hitting the lid for opening it. So I'm going to take the handles off and see if I can move it a little bit further. But it might just mean I have to slide forward if I need to get in and out of there, which isn't too big a deal. And what we're putting on, these ones. So this is going to feed through there. And then go around the little tie downs. Get these ones. Alright, now we'll put it back in there. That's about where I would sit comfortably. And as you can see, it is pretty close. So, still be able to get stuff in and out of there, but it is kind of tight. I'm probably going to fall a little bit more. But something to consider if you are quite a tall person. I'm only going to need to get in there occasionally, so it's not like I'll be in there all the time. So I'm not too fussed about that. But that is how it's going to sit. So I'll get these tie downs on. The plug for it is on the front there, so I'm just going to go from the end and plug over there. I might be able to reach behind the seat and come down the side, otherwise I'll just go under your feet kind of thing and sit it there. Just make sure it doesn't get damaged if you do run it under the footwell. And I've got those on, and these brackets are dry enough anyway, so I'll get that bolted in. I'll be able to put these screws in and then unbolt it again, put the fridge on, and you can actually bolt this in and out with the fridge in place. So I'll be able to tie it down while it's sort of out of the way and then push it into place and bolt it in. I'll strap the fridge on and then we can bolt it in place. And that is it. So fridge is in, all mounted, base is mounted, painted. Hopefully this is sticking nicely. It should do now that it's got the weight on the fridge on it. Hopefully it doesn't stick to the base of the car. but I'll just plug it in now and make sure it all works. So what I've got here is the fridge cable with the Anderson plug on it. King Cellar 1.8 meter extension. So I'm using this because I've got an Anderson plug on this side of the car where I had the compressor hooked up to. But you don't have to get these. These fridges do come with a 12 volt SIG socket plug-in, which is what those two things are down there. But this is just more secure, and because I'm going to have it plugged in all the time, it means I don't have cords up there dangling around. So that's it plugged in. These also come with a 15 amp inline fuse, so you don't have to worry about that, although this line does have a circuit breaker in there anyway, so coming right off the battery, which is what you want. So I've just run it under the seat and then underneath the board, plugged it in here, just going behind that so it keeps the cable nice and out of the way. Now turn it on and it's running. Let's go to 0 degrees. Just come out to check how it's going. It was on 1 degree before, it's on 2 at the moment, just because I opened up the lid, but it's running sweet. As long as my battery's not flat in the morning, all is good. Anyway guys, that is how to install a King's fridge in the back of your car. If you choose to go for that brand. Otherwise you might find another brand that fits better. This one, it does fit pretty good. There's a lot of ventilation around there. You can't quite get the lid open in my current position, but I'll still be able to get things out. It's easy enough to slide the seat forwards anyway, but all up, it's come up pretty tidy. You can still see that and adjust that. These do have USB points in them as well. So when I was looking at actually doing the 12 volt setup for this, I thought about putting in like a little box that had a few outlets on it, like maybe here or something. But because I've got that, plus I've got other stuff there, and most of the time if I'm camping I run stuff off the back of those sockets, so it's really all I need. But at least there is an extra charging socket there if you need it. But anyway, that's it for today's video. Just a quick install for you, but very handy for me. So thanks for watching guys. I'll see you in the next one.